Hey, good evening. Welcome back. It's kind of late in the evening. I'm tired. I just took a shower. I'm kind of hungry. I need to eat dinner and get ready for bed because I kind of go to work early. But there is a topic that I really want to discuss. It's one of my favorite topics in the world, and probably the most critical in me being me. So what could that item be? Some people might say, "Oh, well, it's her," da da da. No, no. What we're going to talk about today, kids, is what is it like to be in the military? More specifically, I'm going to speak on the United States Navy because that's what I served. I was in the Navy. And even more specifically, I want to talk about something that I take absolute great pride in, and that is being a snipe. So you're thinking, what the heck is a snipe? Joe, what's a snipe? I've never heard of a snipe. Is that like Wesley Snipes or something? Do you kill vampires? I mean, no, we don't. So let me tell you a story. So back in the day, way back in the day, ships were always propelled by sails, or like I guess with the Vikings, they had like those oars and whatever. So about like 1812ish, the first steamship was created. I can't remember the name of the original, but the Fulton. And so to operate those kind of things, you actually had to get people that were used to running steam plants on the mainland. So you would have these steam operators operating the ship in terms of like steam and everything. And then like you would have your topside sailors who would do, the deck crew would do whatever it is they do. So the deck crew sailors really didn't like the steam people, and they got to treat it like absolute crap. And then finally, and let me add a fact: those steam operators didn't even hold ranks in the Navy. They're the below deck people. The heck with them, right? So eventually, they started holding ranks in 1859. So they were called like the chief engineer, first engineer, which is why it's called engineering on a Navy ship. It's not like they're engineers like I'm a degreed engineer, but engineers as in like a conductor for a steam engine, an engineer, a train engineer. So, okay. So fast forward a little bit. There came a day when on one ship that there was an engineer, and he got so sick of the way that the his fellow guys were being treated that he stood up, and then everybody was known as his men. So it was a guy named by the name of John Snipes. So they were Snipes men, and then of course it evolved to just Snipes. So now you know what a snipe is. And let me tell you something else. I mean, this is the modern Navy. We all like each other, but I'm gonna let you know a secret. I'm a snipe, and deck people, no offense, they're my military brothers and sisters, but no, we've never forgotten. And we had a plaque, I believe, in the one of our engine spaces on the Harry S. Truman, where I served, aircraft carrier, that actually had like the whole like Snipes Lament. At least I think we did. I can't remember. Somebody's got to like check me on that. But so basically nowadays, what a snipe is, it is anybody that makes pretty much the ship go. So I was a Navy electrician of the nuclear variety. We had mechanics. There are damage controlmen. There are gas turbine mechanic and electricians. There are enginemen. There are actual machinists and machinery repair. And there used to be interior communication, and one of the really most important rates that go back, and they were still in existence when I was in, but now they've emerged into the mechanics. But I'm going to give a special shout out to my good friend and coworker, Benny Boom Boom Pidge, straight out of Virginia. Benny was a BT. He was a boiler tech. When I started working 3 years ago at my place, there were 4 of these guys. Now we're down to 3. But I'm like, holy crap, these guys are like king snipes. They're like, their snipiness is just like, I'm in awe. It's like, wow, I want to be like that guy when I grow up. Seriously, Benny, I want to be like you. But, so anyway, and even separating how does stuff work. So in the Navy, there are 6 basic classifications that you get, whatever job rating you have, which is A rating is here's what your job is. So in the Navy, we don't do MOSs and have all these letters and numbers. You're like, what the hell is that? In the Navy, it's, oh, I was an electrician's mate. Okay, I think we know what you did. Pretty easy, all right? Pretty easy. So there's, you have your corpsman and you have your dental tech type people. So dental hygienist, and then hospitalman is the actual name for corpsman, but we just call them corpsman. So they have like a little white stripe. They got like little symbols. Then there is the construction man. Now those guys are pretty cool. You know, the whole CBs, you guys have heard of CBs, right? Build, fight, kick people's butts, build more stuff. Pretty cool. I work with a guy that actually was a CB. Pretty cool guy. You've got the air wing. I am not going to go into the air wing in this video. If you think I have it in for the deck crew, let me tell you something. Being on a carrier, like Top Gun, I don't watch Top Gun. I refuse to watch Top Gun because the heck with the air wing. I understand it's like, oh, well, the for carrier. Oh, so the airplanes can do their thing. Well, you still had about, I don't know, 2,100 people that made up ship's company that were making the ship go and, you know, feeding people, you know. So at least the deck crew was getting pooped on like us. But at any rate, Skittles, don't get me started. And I have a lot of really good Skittle stories, and they're all like, just like, what the heck? Anyway. So your deck crew is pretty much like white stripes, and then on a white uniform, it's like a really like dark blue stripe. So we have electronic techs in our department for reactor. Same thing on a submarine, it's the same deal for nuke ships. Nuke boats, I should say. I don't want any submariners to get all butthurt because they said ship. Those guys are high strung enough as it is. I mean, you don't see the sunlight for 3 months. What the hell? How do you think you would be, right? I saw the sun every day. Anyway. So they're like a white stripe, dark blue stripe. And then finally, the snipes are the red stripe community. So when I got out of boot camp, I actually didn't have the rating badge. I would have had 3 white stripes, so I would have been a fireman. I left boot camp as an E3. Then I went to my A school down in Goose Creek, South Carolina, which is the most godforsaken place in the world. Oh my God, if I never step foot there again, I'll be happy. Right outside of Charleston. Charleston's nice, but it's not my kind of place, but a lot of history, a lot of good history. But anyway, so then I went to my A school, then I got my rating symbol, which basically is like a big ball. And if I was ever going to get a tattoo, it would just basically be the EM rating symbol, which is supposed to be like a globe with like latitude, longitude, but it kind of gets screwed up with knitting, so it just looks like a big white ball. So, you know, that's what it is. So now what is it actually like though? I got to fix things. I got to troubleshoot. I stood watch. I was surrounded by some of the greatest guys I've met. I am very good friends with a lot of people I serve with to this day. Those bonds are absolutely unshakable. You learn to rely on each other. You learn to sleep on places that are really hard, like the top of blue ball tanks on the starboard side of the MMR, maybe. Maybe that didn't happen. But anyway, you know, you just go through all the toil, but everybody puts the same uniform on. And one of the things that people, they kind of think the military, like, we care about this, we care about that. And again, I can only speak for the Navy, but we had people who were lesbians. We had all sorts of people, but people of different religions, different backgrounds, different creeds, all over the country, even, you know, Spanish-speaking countries like the Philippines or Puerto Rico. I don't think we had any, but I got to meet some people from, like, all over the place. And what that did for me, leaving boot camp, I would say this was more when I got to the tournament. So let's just say when I was just about ready to turn 27. So my mind got to be opened by all of these new ideas, new people. I was stationed in Norfolk. I liked Norfolk. I know Norfolk has a history of, you know, blah, blah, blah. But in the military, you eat shitty food most of the time. Sometimes it's really good. Breakfast is typically the best meal on a carrier. That's why I started eating omelets, because on a carrier, the camaraderie, the technical training, you know, that's really, really important. So I know you're wondering, so why, Joe, why did you go into the Navy? 2 really, really, really big reasons. Number one, I was 24. I was trying to figure out what the hell to do with my life. I had started going back to college. I started going to Drexel part time at night. I was doing that, and the job I was working, which was a really good job, but we had layoffs and everything, so tuition. I wasn't paying a thing to go to school. That was really awesome. But that kind of went away. So I'm like, what do I do now? I mean, I'm making okay money, but at the same time, this whole like gender dysphoria thing's really screwed up my brain. So I may have, yeah, maybe made some bad decisions. But so that's one. I needed direction. I thought the military would be a good place. I figured technical training, Navy or Air Force, that would be a good fit. And then the second reason, a lot of us have this reason. It's really important. I remember a day I was getting coffee. I was out of work at that point. It was a fall day. Actually, it technically wasn't fall yet. It was still summer. But I'm getting coffee, going out to talk to my mom, and we got a TV in the kitchen. And, you know, these cowards decided to commandeer some planes and fly them into buildings. And I know a lot of other people at that time will never forget that day. And I know myself and a lot of us at that point were like, I got to defend my country. I am extremely patriotic. I only have one flag. It is the American flag. I will fly the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania flag. I'll fly the Philadelphia flag. And of course the United States Navy flag. Oh, of course the Don't Try to Me. I love that one. But I'm extremely patriotic. Crap on my country, I'll come crap on you. Bottom line, okay? Very, very patriotic. That's why I joined. I was also kind of like really didn't have a clue about life at that time. So the Navy basically took like, okay, let's see what's up with this kid. Started like rewiring me, like kind of like getting assimilated into the Borg is really the best way I can put it. But better skin complexion and like no like dangling anything, you know, because what the heck's up with that, right? So you know, I was in for about 3.5 years. It was a little earlier than I wanted, but things happened, and the past is the past. But the bottom line is, what the military made me is, A, I completely understood my father at that point. My dad was a Marine, so I used to like say, "Dad, you eat crowns." He's like, "Shut up, boy," you know. But it totally it gave me so many tools, so much knowledge. In the Navy, I literally had no shame anymore. So I started doing karaoke. I have sea stories that will not be discussed on this channel because I'm sorry, I'm not discussing it. If I like you, I might tell you the story. I've got a lot of them. I'm not saying I'm proud of that, but you know what they say about Navy and Navy people going into ports? It's all true. It's all true. I'm definitely guilty. So I gained a lot. I came out an incredibly strong person. I came out, I'm not going to say absolutely fearless, but kind of fearless. And I also was just basically like, I had no shame. I had no shame. So, you know, that's what the military does. It remolds you in a way. You look at, okay, it's not about me, but it's about the people that I serve with. Those people and I was on a deployment. Yes, it was I guess you could say it was kind of a theater war. I mean, I got the expedition and the campaign medals for GWOT. Okay, GWOT, Global War on Terror. You've heard it. Nobody ever says GWOT on the media. The Global War on Terror. So we were there. We did our jobs and we did our part. We kept the ship going, kept the lights on, and I take a lot of pride in that. And then I really thought about it. And I thought back to my grandfather. My grandfather was in the Navy, World War II in Korea. My grandfather never talked about it, but I do know that he was a snipe. I don't know if he was a machinist mate or if he was an engineman, but my grandfather was a snipe, and I know it can happen with steam systems that bad things happen, and if that would have happened on my ship and I saw it, I wouldn't be talking about it either. I absolutely wouldn't be, so I would think my grandfather, I mean, he passed away when I was 14, but I think he would be delighted that his grandkid became a snipe too. At least I think. I hope he would. I don't know what he would think about me being a girl now, but whatever. But, that's, the military is, It's not anything bad. It's good. It's good. People don't yell at you like you think you see in the movies. Oh, and one other thing. All these military movies, especially the Navy ones, where it's all serious and like Denzel Washington's doing this and that. Let me tell you something. The most accurate Navy movie is Down Periscope. I shit you not. I cannot make that up. That we only like make it look serious sometimes because we have to, but other than that, we're just having fun. We're having fun, making things happen. Good group of people. I mean, there's just so many I can name. I love them all. Um, so that's what the military's like. It's like you get care packages in the middle of deployment. You're like, hey, oh my god, I got this, I got that. I remember getting like a bag of Utz pretzels. I'm like, all right, I only share with the Philly people. Everybody else, screw you. But we all helped each other. We had one guy, Ricky, would always do our haircuts and everything. My birthing area, birthing always smelled. Ours wasn't too bad, but I was actually the BPO for a little bit. I was in charge of birthing for like a month or two or something. I had like E5s, E6s working under me, and I was only an E4. But I was like the oldest person, so not like the oldest, but you know what I mean. But, you know, I got to sleep in the back where my LPOs, my leading petty officer, my work center soup, another guy that got to the ship the same day as me. God, what else? A lot of really, really like senior people in my division up to like E6. And I'm like, wow. Then it was Navy racks. Let me tell you about Navy racks. They suck. Your back will hurt for 10 years after you get out. Then finally, your back starts feeling better because like, okay, I sleep on a regular bed again. And then when you sleep on a regular bed, you're like, oh my god, this is paradise. Every night, it's like, oh my god, this is paradise. Because not only were the beds hard as anything, the racks, I should say, you had blue curtains in it. Do not ask me about blue curtain stories. I don't have a blue curtain story, but there are blue curtain stories. Just don't ask me, use imagination, and don't, yeah, okay? So, the racks are pretty hard. You got three of them lined up on each side. So that's what we call a six-pack. Stands to reason. 3 plus 3 is 6. But where I slept, I was in two of them put, back to back. So it was 6 and 6. So I was in the back 6, and we used to call that the black hole. And man, I gotta tell you, I slept like a baby. Planes landing on top of me, a couple stories above me, no problem. Diesels kicking off right below me, no problem. Slept like a baby. Big ships, oh, let me tell you, it was great. It was really good. I would do it all over again. I really, really, really would. I do miss it, but I get to work with a lot of people who were in, and people that, would be like reactor or conventional types. I love everybody. I don't really differentiate. I mean, really, you're either an electrician or you're not. I mean, sorry, everybody else, not sorry. But, I have such strong relationships with people that were military because military, I can say anything I want that's going to be non-filtered. It's just, there's no, like, hesitation. I'm not going to say there's not a filter, but I can say a lot more things to somebody who's in the military, or not even say anything at all, and they're going to pick up on exactly what, I'm picking up on. So, there's a lot of terminology, language I could use in this video, but I really don't want to be, it's not my goal to be, really, really vulgar and use, I would have to use a lot of F-bombs, and that's just not appropriate for this. It doesn't really add, but in the Navy, you learn to use the F word in probably at least 50, 100 different ways. You get very colorful, which is why I think I'm colorful still, but I'm working on it. So, that's the military. I love it. I strongly recommend the military for everybody. I mean, okay, not everybody can do it, but really, really, I can't say there was a better experience in my life that made me, and it made everything in my life easier. And I work in tandem with the military now, the Navy. I've done that for the last almost 4.5, 5 years, and it's like good to be in seeing the next generation of people that are doing things. So in a way, I don't wear a uniform anymore, and I would love to wear that uniform again. I really would. But rules are rules right now, and that's what it is. But I would love to serve, but I still get to serve in a way that I'm still doing things that, kind of aid the country with national defense, which is really, really important. I can't tell you more about what I do because, well, it's classified. So do me a favor, don't ask because I'm not going to tell you anything. So don't ask, don't tell. Anyway, that's it. I gotta get something to eat. I'm tired. I should go to bed, but that's the military. If you got questions about the military, shoot them down in the comments and hit me up. I will tell you. I could tell you some stories. Most of them are pretty good, and the ones that aren't pretty good are pretty damn funny. Usually at my suspense or somebody else's, but so that's it. Military, go Navy.